What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Expand Podcast with Omar Alfaro, me as the host, and JP as the co-host, where we're going to be discussing just everything about life, expanding your mind to see what's possible out there, and expanding your knowledge on what you should be knowing about your country, about real estate, about everything in general. And this is the cool part. I mean, we talk about real estate, we talk about what to do, how to do it, and how to make extra money in the real estate space. But in addition to, we also have guests that come on to help us and educate us on what's really happening in the world from different point of views, with title, with insurance, with gym owners, with business owners, etc. And I'm excited about this interview. I know JP is as well. And if you guys know him, you guys will know him after this interview for sure. And when none other than Jake D. Lewis is in the house. I cannot wait to ask you a bunch of questions, brother. And I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate you giving us the time. And it's cool to see what have you done over the last 5, 6, 7 years, 10 years since I've known you, since we were in that one living room a long time ago. With MLM stuff, just trying to hustle,
acting like we were making it.
Exactly. This was a long time ago. So yeah, without further ado, let's start asking some questions. Let's just introduce who you are. I'll let everybody know what you do, how you started, and all that jazz. And then we're going to get into the rest of the dates. So you want to add anything else to this, JP?
Yeah, no, I'm excited. I think the best way to introduce yourself, you just sat into an Uber. You have like a 3-minute drive, and a guy asks you, who are you? What you do?
Let's go.
Oh man, I've triggered so many of those guys in the Ubers. That's funny that you say that. So I'm born and raised in the high desert. Basically 2008, pissed the bed, and like most people did in the market. And by the time I was able to go back to work, the economy was crashing, the banks were closing. So I did really well with what I did with lending and stuff at the time, but I told myself at that point that I wanted to get into something with residual income on my next go around.
Right.
Because I'd lost everything at that point, hence the gyms. So I have a partner on the gyms that him and I co-founded them back in 2012, I believe. We bought an existing World Gym and it would have been gone within like 6 months.
For sure.
It had an inoperable owner. It was failing, and we completely flipped it around, built new locations since. Now we own the gyms, obviously, and then we also own the brand.
Right.
So now what we're heavy focused on is licensing the brand. I just came back from Florida. We're looking at possibly adding 3 locations out there in the next 12 months. And then outside of that, I'm big on helping people. If you can find a way to help people, the byproduct is just going to be, you're going to make money, and then you're going to enjoy doing what you like to do. So, with everything going on in our country and the attack that's really put on the middle class, and you can see it in the school systems, you can see it in the tax brackets, you can see it everywhere. My lady and I started a financial services business, which is American Freedom, about 2 years ago, which is really taken off, and I enjoy that because we're helping people do with their finances that we should have been taught in school, and we're not.
100%. Yeah.
So, I think that's the short end of the stick of where we're at right there.
All right, so let's rewind a little bit. You guys in 2008, you lost everything.
Now, what is losing everything? For those, I'm talking piss the bed. Toys, houses, everything, complete restart.
And that was for everybody that's watching and listening. That is when we had a financial crisis where we lost 70% of value in real estate. So across the board, and across the country, certain pockets obviously didn't get hit that hard. But in our area here in the high desert, and I was part of it, I knew it. I knew what happened. I was representing a lot of buyers and sellers at that time as well. So I know what happened in 08 and 09, actually 07 and 08. And then, we started coming out of it in 09 and then 2010. But you lost it all, which this is something that if everybody was in this business or in general, through 07 and 08, 09, you guys all know what happened. And, but the crazy thing is some people stayed there, other people bounced, and they created something phenomenal I want to talk to you about that because you founded the gym that a lot of us go to and where we work out, we try to get healthy, all that good stuff. And you started it in 2012. Walk me through 2009 and 10, that low part of the time before you founded the gym and before you bought World's Gym or took it over, because I want everybody to know the discipline and everything that you need to go through when you lose it all on not giving the fuck up, like not giving up. And then what? I want you to explain that.
I want to add to that. Not even the discipline part, but it's kind of what she said. Like, how do you come back from something?
Exactly.
You mentioned you bought a gym. So I got a good one. I got to cut you off real quick. Yeah. So we all have those friends, right? You think about somebody. I literally just had a conversation with my uncle last night about one of his high school friends that is doing the exact same thing. So, you piss the bed. Let's use relationships. Like that. But let's use relationships for an example. We've all gone through it. You look at, you could probably name two or three friends that broke up with the love of their life. They've never been able to fulfill another relationship afterwards. They're still living in the past and they're still stuck on it. Business is no fucking different. Right. The same thing. Life is no different. If you fall off a horse, the faster you get back on, the sooner you're going to be where you want to be. So and that's the problem too with society these days is, between like the monitors and like kids getting raised on iPads and all that stuff, the attention span is very low. So they want instant gratification right now. And I don't care who you are. If you don't have mommy or daddy's money and you're starting a business, you're not making any money. You're not making any money and, for an X amount of time until you build something. So to answer your question, I just got back on the horse. And another thing too is I was in a major accident in 2007 and major head injury. So my head wasn't working right. Smashed. I think I had like 13 surgeries from it. Like big time accident. So by the time I got my marbles back, I had to fight a head injury that I wasn't supposed to come back from, and also figure out how to make some money because my income went away. So I was living off of savings at the time. And actually before the gyms, I started a marketing company, SEO. It was a small operation, but I had quite a few clients, and that's what rolled me into the gym.
Nice. So you started a company before you started the other company. Mm-hmm. And so that SEO, which search engine optimization, I'm assuming, right. Mm-hmm. And you were probably using them as a client, or they were using you to help establish the gym or World's Gym at the time.
Yeah, that was a big start of our, in the beginning we used.
Oh, I think that's right. Okay.
Yeah, so I took what I learned from that. And the funny thing is some of it that I knew, I learned, because we got to go backwards. The internet's not what it is now. So it was completely different. Like I don't know shit about it now, but back then, what I was doing for the mortgage company, I just rolled it over into what I could do for other clients and went into stuff that was still around, like, plumbers and like Service Master. I had a shitload of Service Master clients. I was going to their conventions and stuff and getting clients there, and just rolled what I knew from that and then learned some more and then offered it to companies that were still around. And then I was able to maintain some of my lifestyle and then start building.
That's a cool, man.
Hey, so, obviously you had that tenacity and perseverance. What I'm kind of getting away from this, do you think that can be instilled in someone, or you either have it or you don't?
No, you
have it, just made a choice. You were like, this is what I got to do.
Right.
And that's it. There was like really no questioning, no negotiating.
Well, and there's people are raised different. Like I grew up really rough, really poor. So,
what's the worst that's going to happen?
Yeah. Like it's not scary to me. Like, I've literally watched a couple uncles roll up on a doorstep and shoot my mom's boyfriend in both kneecaps. And I thought that's what you get, because he was beat my mom prior to that. So, yeah, there's no, when you go to a certain point, especially at a young age, I think that it's distilled in you because I didn't have anybody to do it for me. So, and that's where the parent, anybody raising any young kids right now, don't baby your kids. Take care of them, love them, but make sure that if it's a boy, make sure that that boy is going to be a man. And same thing with a little girl, that she's going to be a woman, not like a bitch or a female, like what people like to refer to women to these days. So,
and I can see that, having 3 girls.
Yeah.
And, I mean, that I'm sure, that they know, hey, they can be independent. They're going to take care of their shit. They don't need, somebody else to take care of, them.
Yeah.
So that's something I'm instilling as well at an early age for them. But yeah.
That's great, man. So touching on just you acquiring the gym, what was that process like? And what made you want to buy a gym?
Well, I got into fitness working out. I never even really worked out. I rode motocross and stuff, but I never like did the whole working out aspect of it until I think I got into working out around 2009 or 10. And again, it was post one of my accidents, and I had to like rebuild and get my shit together basically. And I didn't like what the medical system was doing. I just caught on to it, and that's a whole nother rabbit hole. But so I started looking into more holistic type stuff. I had 4 knee surgeries, and I was by this time I should have already had a knee replacement, but fitness fixed that by working it the right way and strengthening it and doing all that stuff. Where was I going with that? I just had a brain freeze.
Just as far as like you getting into fitness.
Getting into fitness. So that's what got me into fitness. And then I would say sometime around 2010, through a friend, I met the owner of World Gym up here.
That was the current World Gym, which was at like the next to old Boot Barn.
Yes. Yeah. Just like one of
the freeway, right?
Yeah. One of the original gyms up here was like 90. I think it came in 89 or 92. I don't remember which one it was. But so I ended up meeting the guy, and then him and I were going, we became friends, and then him and I were going to Havasu. We stopped by the gym, and he had somebody in there that was managing the place that he'd always fight with, and he came out like, all pissed off, like, irritated, like, fucking place, like that type of shit. And so I was like, well, why don't you sell it to me, dude? And I'd already, like, it's already, for whatever reason, when I met him, something in the back of my head told me that I'm going to be a part of this place. Like, I saw that he wasn't happy with it. And, like, I like helping people, and there's no better way. The best ways to help people is either with their health or with their money. So
health or wealth.
Yep, exactly.
Health and wealth.
So long story short, he's like, well, and I worked on him, and we agreed on a price. And then one of my other buddies was a fitness manager, 24-hour fitness in Apple Valley, and he had a bunch of stuff going on outside of that. And then we were bullshitting one day. He's like, so what do you got going on? Because, like, we just became friends, like, within, I think, that year. And it seemed like he was intrigued with what I had going on, because I pulled up in a nice car. I could pull up whenever I wanted to, like, schedule-wise. And I was doing the marketing at times, so I made my own schedule. And so we started bullshit. He's like, well, what else are you working on? And I was like, well, I'm working on these gyms right now. And he's like, what do you got? And I was like, well, I got them for this amount. And then he's like, well, I talked to him like a year ago, and it was like more than double that amount.
Oh.
And then, so he's like, well, you want to go in on them together? And that's where it all started.
That's still
so yeah, just networking, building friendships with people that you want to, like, a lot of people have the wrong input on networking.
Yeah.
When I say networking means networking with people that are like you. Because if they're not like you, are you going to want to do business with them? No matter how shiny the object looks, probably not. And if you do, down the road, you're going to have issues.
Right.
So networking with like-minded people and searching out those people to build either businesses with, or, relationships or whatever, is the key to it, in my opinion.
No,
I don't have any education. I grew up in Lucerne Valley.
Lucerne Valley, guys. If you don't know where that's at, that is on the way to Big Bear, in between Apple Valley and Johnson Valley. And yeah, it's middle of the desert, guys.
Did you already have partners in place that you knew you would acquire with, or that's something that you had go out and?
With the gym, well, that's it's just one partner. And we're still in it together. We're killing it. We're cranking it. We work well together. We have the same mindset and the same goal. Really, there is no end goal. I think that's where people fuck up in business, is they put an end goal on something, whether it's a dollar amount or asset amount or
selling it,
maybe a location amount or whatever. It's unlimited. It's unlimited. It's how hard do you want to work? So There's no end goal on it. I expect that in the next 10 years, we should have 300 locations on our brand. 300. We're at 8 right now. And then with possibly, we got one that's locked in Florida right now with 2 more possibly pending in Florida. And that's just from
relationships. I'm sure.
And but then you got to look at though, like the licensing, you have to bring a value. So what do we value? Like, I think that we have, and I could be biased, but I think we have the best brand in fitness. Like, just as far as the brand name itself, you go into an area and put one of our locations up with our brand. After you brand in that area, whenever somebody talks on the radio, whenever somebody hears somebody talking about where they work out at, and they're talking about, I'm going to go to the gym, or I'm going to go to the gym.
The gym.
Yeah. Even if they're not going to the gym,
they're saying it.
It puts the context out there, and the marketing is free.
Genius, bro.
Thank you. Appreciate it. So just that alone. And then our history, we go all the way back to the founding partners of Gold's Gym that are in with us on our brand now. So,
no shit.
We have a system. Yeah, big time. So we have a system that is, you see it.
No, yeah.
It's competition. We like competition, but it's not really competition at the same time.
It's because I think, like you just mentioned, 300 gyms, bro, the next 10 years. I don't think any other gym owner is playing at that field.
No, they're scared because they have an end goal. That's why.
They have an end goal. And what's crazy is that everyone will say, I'm going to the gym. I'm going to go to the gym. Doesn't matter what the name of the gym is, but they're saying it every single time. Imagine if we had the brand real estate.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever somebody said something, real estate. Mm-hmm. And that's like ours, dude.
That's crazy. Let's just say that person's not going to a gym.
Right.
They're going to correct them. And then whoever's listening, they're going to be like, wait, there's something called just the gym.
Let me go check that out.
Yeah.
That's exactly what's happening.
Let's get into a bit more detail, man. It was previously, obviously, World Gym.
Right.
And you guys switched it to the gym, which is now. Why did that happen?
So it's funny because Gold's Gym, one of our friends, he's the guy that took Gold's Gym from one location, and I think it was somewhere around 600 or 700 locations. He put it all through Hollywood, all through Targets, Walmart. You're my age, so you know what I'm talking about. You're a young buck, so you're like, well, yeah. What's a Kmart?
He's 20 years younger than me.
Oh man, damn.
I know.
So I'm sorry.
I remember those days, man. I remember those days. No, but so Gold's Gym, the guy that took Gold's Gym from one location, he's also a former world champion bodybuilder. He's the guy that hired our partner, George Jackson, as CFO of Gold's Gym International. So they built it together and spread it through the world, right? Pete ended up selling Gold's Gym in 1999 for $100 million. And long story short, yeah, but if he would have kept it and doing what he had done, it'd be worth a couple $1 billion.
Yeah, the brand itself. Yeah.
So we bring him around all the time, and he sees what we're doing. We get mentorship and stuff from him too.
That's cool.
Super cool. And he's like, same thing I was talking about earlier, same mindset, same type of thought process and all that. So it works out. But long story short, after he sold, George was a Gold's Gym because he started his own gyms while working for Gold's Gym. And when he sold Gold's Gym, they sold it to a bunch of investment bankers. And immediately full franchise contracts, like percentage of gross revenue, like all that type of stuff. So a lot of the, that's why this gym up here, the one that we bought, it used to be a Gold's Gym also.
Right.
And then it moved to a World Gym, I think.
So you guys, the franchise contract right now.
Right. So they went to World Gym, which Joe Gold created Gold's Gym, then created World Gym. And basically he created World Gym because he was pissed he let Gold's Gym go too soon. And then so he started World Gym. So then he gave them the same contract that they had in the beginning with him at World Gym. So that's when you saw a lot of Golds transition to World.
Right.
So long story short, World Gym was owned by somebody named Joyce, which she owned Joyco hair products.
Mm-hmm.
She passed away and left her son that's been fed with a silver spoon out of Beverly Hills his whole life with a $150 million trust fund and the World Gym brand. So at that point, instantly went, pardon my French, but full retard, and came after all the locations that they wanted. Oh, well, we're going to help you make more money, but you're going to take 10%. And mind you, like us, for our gyms, we were like the black sheep in the corporation, but we did whatever we want. Like when we built Victorville, like usually with a franchise, you have to go off their guidelines. Their guidelines were like a yellow wall, a green wall, a blue wall. It was lane. So we just built the gym without telling them anything. And then they ended up popping in one day and seeing the gym. And then I thought they were going to get like a little bit sideways with us, but they loved it. So they started using it for all their marketing. So
that's cool.
We're helping them build their brand this whole time. We're supposed to be grandfathered in. As soon as his mom dies, they came at us with a full-blown franchise agreement. And it's like, it would go from like paying maybe like $2,500 a month to like, I don't know, 30, 40 grand. Like,
oh, wow.
And then he comes at us like, well, I'm going to help you make more money. So that's it. That's why I'm going to charge you more money. And I was like,
yes, you're right.
I was like, dude, no, you haven't helped us do anything. And if anything, we've helped you. So like, this doesn't make any sense. So immediately when that started going down, I started thinking of a brand, and then came up with a brand. We got a trademark. We did a rebrand on 5 locations within like 2 months. Completely just like peace. We negotiated out of early contracts on a couple locations, so we didn't have to pay for a long term. Because I told him, I was like, it's not gonna look very good, dude, if we're a different brand, and then everybody's like looking at our stuff, and we're saying, look at this brand instead.
Yeah.
We got out of a lot of contracts, and then it's been smooth sailing ever since.
Yeah, no, I mean, you guys have been killing it. Let's get right into the nitty gritty. Fast forward March 2020 cause. Yeah, like Jake, close your business.
Yeah.
Dude, seriously, let's just have some context here. If everybody knows, March 16th, 17th, which is my birthday this Friday. So March 17th, the U.S. shut down because of freaking the 44, bro.
Oh, my bad.
Come on.
44.
Just because you're 24, you want to add more years to me? So anyways, March 17th, I think that was the official day, or the 16th, I'm not sure, that it was officially announced that, the U.S. had COVID and everybody was shut down, complete lockdown, Vegas shut down and everything. And explain to us what happened after that, because, obviously we had to all stay home. And, we own a restaurant, Las Brisas, if you guys have been there, which I'm sure you guys have. Our Cadillac margaritas are sick. And we had to shut down, but we were against the grain as well. My dad, God rest his soul, he's like, fuck that shit. I'm going to stay open as long as I can, until they tell me that you have to absolutely close. So tell me something, like, what was that with you? Because this is tons of people coming in. This is working out. This is sweat. This is coughing. This is all of the above, man. So
it's also a good opportunity for a lot of people that disagree with you essentially reopening to understand
with everybody. Yeah.
The intention behind it. And you were, I guess you could say, essentially closed for 4 to 6 weeks, right?
I don't remember the exact amount. I think it was like 4. Okay. We took the time to do stuff that we couldn't do on the gym maintenance wise, like
smart.
Modeling some maintenance stuff. And like, I predicted all of this stuff coming into it because I keep a close eye on stuff. When you have, CNN, all these fake news outlets posting Chinese people dying in the streets in China with a mask on, and they're like falling in the street, but they're like catching themselves right before, like, it's all a show. So I predicted they were going to shut us down. So we ended up, long story short, we ended up shutting down for whatever it was and doing our remodels. And then we opened, however long that would be. I think it was May 1st. So we opened May 1st. And what happened is, one, they can't tell us to shut down. Like, we shut down, we got our information straight, we prepared, got, waivers created by our attorneys and all that stuff. We shut down with anticipation of opening, just being prepared for it. Private membership association, all that type of stuff. So just to have more grounds to fight back on when they come at you. So, and like, I'm pretty keen on the Constitution, and
just sure.
Yeah, there you go.
We the people.
There we go. I'm pretty keen on the Constitution, and they stopped teaching cursive to our kids probably about 15 years ago. And the purpose of that is so that they can't read old documents, original documents, or know how to read documents. Yep. So look into that, and that's one other level. But let's keep on track here. So freedom was one. So this is what happened. I called everybody into the gym, And I just basically told them, this is what's going down. We're opening in the morning. There's going to be, a lot of heat, I'm sure. And I'm going to try to take as much of it as I can. But if it's something that you want to do and be a part of, then we're opening in the morning.
So you got your whole team.
Yeah, I got all our teams together.
Described the mission to that.
Yeah,
this is what we're doing. You're either with me or not.
Yeah,
no hard feelings.
And we're riding until the wheels fall off. So we had some people leave that were scared, which was fine. We I think actually a couple of them came back since, but
they did.
Yeah,
that's cool.
I did this post on Instagram just kind of breaking down what, why, and where. I had just a bunch of stuff go on over that period of time of the shutdown where members, like, I would still be at the gym working on it. Members would come to the door and, their mental health was just fucked. And like,
they needed an outlet.
Yeah.
They needed that.
And here's the thing with me being in the industry, like, I never realized how much of a mental health aspect the gym is, believe it or not. Until I had, talking to people and letting them sneak in, work out or whatever. And, talking to them, and then one day I came into the gym and I was walking through when we were closed, and I was like, this fucking place sucks. Like, there's no energy in here. And then it just hit me like a lightning bolt, and I was like, fuck this shit. Let's go. Yeah, let's go sooner than later. So I did a big post on the social media. It went. I honestly didn't really expect it
would go viral.
The high does.
I was talking about it.
Yeah.
So I did a post. It went viral. People were coming in like crazy. Oh, and by the way, I brought a couple bottles, so we were celebrating and with all the staff. So we're having drinks, and then like I didn't expect like just the cowardness of people behind a phone, I guess you could say.
Oh yeah.
So, and like, these people aren't going to talk to you like they would talk to you over phone to your face. So I never really expected that. And I'm a counterpuncher. I was raised rough. So somebody comes at me or my family or my people, like, it's offending them.
Yeah.
Like in any way that I can. So, people start coming and talking shit. So me and my girl were on there, we're talking shit back. And, one of the phrases ended up on, TMZ the next morning. It was pretty funny. There's a chick that was claiming to be a nurse and come to find out that she wasn't even a nurse. Yeah. She wasn't even a nurse. And like, I made an educated decision. I know doctors and nurses at all the hospitals up here. I got all the specs on how many cases there were. There was like 5 cases in the entire high desert at the time, out of almost 500,000 people. Like, it's not shit. So and she just kept saying like, well, I'm a nurse and this and that. So finally I was like, the only thing you nurse is these nuts. And it happened to flip from my personal page to the gym page. So I wanted to send it from my page, but like there was so much coming in, it flipped over and came from the gym. So that was like the beginning of the gyms, like just having a personality on social media, basically. So yeah, man. And after that, holy shit, like just imagine pissing off, I won't even say a half, because a half of the people aren't, like, most of the accounts are fake and bot accounts and all that shit.
So I saw people posting your Raptor on their Instagram stories, like, look at this piece of shit driving by. Like, you pissed off a lot.
Oh, dude, we had a BLM or a Maltese cocktail at the back of one of our gyms, but he was too stupid to realize it was a brick building, so it just burned the paint. We had some punks come by with automatic pellet guns and light up all of our windows, shoot all the glass out. But again, they were never,
because you stayed the course, though. You stayed the fucking course.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of that shit they're paid agitators, like, Antifa drop down brackets and stuff like that. And some are just so controlled by their emotions, they really can't handle anything. So let's see here. What happened next? Damn.
2020, March, May, June, July.
Now you're just
then going into the media, like I did like 72 news interviews. And, like I was very vocal on
like why you're not closing.
Yep.
And everyone was supporting you.
Yeah.
Some people weren't. And I know all the cops and stuff, they could say that they weren't supporting, but deep down inside they were, because they were working out.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, this is the only mother freaking place that is open that we can go and let's do our thing.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what it's all about. And the support came from all over the country, man. But then so did the hate too. You know, I put a whole security system on my house because they were threatening my dog. So I knew that I could get to my house sooner than cops would.
Dogs.
Oh yeah.
Like, you have to be a real piece of shit.
Oh yeah.
I don't care who you are if you're threatening dogs.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and I'm talking, I mean, they get in, it's funny too, because when you push back on the system, this is going to sound a little crazy, but they get into your phones. They know exactly who you're talking to and what you're talking about. And I proved it in one situation. There was a conversation that my girl and I had, and it was over text, and neither of us talked to anybody. Right. Our personal business. And there was a number that was texting her and I, and then also an Instagram account that was hitting her and I, like, literally, like, just saying all the nastiest shit you could think of. And then this number brought it up to both of us. So how are they getting into phones? Like, you know, they want,
that's a trip.
You got to look into cancel culture and what they do, and our government is a part of it, because they don't want people not listening and making a fool of the government. Like, nothing fucking.
I mean, you've seen Social Dilemma.
I mean, besides all the chaos, but
I'm sure you've seen Social Dilemma on Netflix. Like,
yeah.
For example, if I start talking about a certain brand, a watch, or phone,
oh yeah,
there's ads,
yes,
left and right.
Yeah,
it's illegal as fuck too. Like, per the Constitution.
Let alone Alexa.
Yeah.
On shit.
You start talking to Alexa, they're gonna fucking know everything.
Oh, sure.
You saw that Joe Rogan, he read one time the TikTok, like, terms of service and agreement. You basically sign off on allowing them to, like, enter all, not just your phone's IP address, but every device that's connected to it.
If you don't remember, and this is why it's very important to pay attention to what's going on, Trump declared TikTok, banned TikTok, and it's because it's owned by China, and they're taking all the information, they're indoctrinating all the kids, they're controlling what the kids are seeing, they're manipulating society with it. Who turned TikTok back on in America? Joe Biden. So something to think about there. Like, if you pay attention to the history, then you can, when you're in that time, you can predict that you hit the future with what they're going to do.
Let's dive into the current timeline a little bit more, though. So, like, you're in the mix of, you know, receiving all the heat. You have your business open. You're doing all of these interviews. And one thing I constantly hear you say is, like, you know, make sure you're aware. Make sure you're aware.
Mm-hmm.
How do you know that the information you're aware of is
relevant?
Yeah,
real.
That you can validate something.
Yeah,
well, trust.
Well, when it's not on mainstream, one.
Okay,
that's a really good point.
Two, again, paying attention to the history, or like your history of what's going on, what people say and do, and actions and stuff that's passed, or laws that are passed, or anything else. Like, real quick, like, you know, this state's a good example. It's on the verge of straight socialism. Newsom's a piece of shit. Like, he's Nancy Pelosi's nephew. This guy is a straight actor. He's a paid actor.
Straight up.
And look what he's done to this state. I mean, just Prop 47 alone, like, it's made the lawless even more lawless. And what it does is it paints people like us into corners, because when the system can turn you into a criminal, they can take a lot of your constitutional rights, like a firearm, travel, accessing all your information on your phone, seeing what you're doing, and all that type of stuff. So they paint people, well, like me, into a corner and criminal. So then they can control you. And then the more people they can get into the criminal system, the more people they think will own guns and they can control.
Yeah.
So when I say they, there's puppeteers over our government, which is like the Petroya family, the Rothschilds. And I mean, it even goes up from there. So they want one world order. They want one currency. And, you know, the Bible talks about that being the end of times. Like, if we go to one currency, that's not good in any way.
That's like a whole different rabbit hole, conspiracy theories, and obviously there's a lot of facts to go with it. At one point through this process, because obviously you said it blew your expectations as far as how much coverage you would get, right?
Yeah, I mean, I was just saying, like, I wasn't doing anything wrong.
Fuck it.
Yeah, I wasn't doing anything wrong. This is our business. You want to be about it, then we're about it.
Was there any point in that where you were like, oh, fuck?
No, because once you get in fight mode, like your adrenaline, your adrenaline runs like for so long. Like, I would say, like, 2 years after everything finally came down from all the chaos of the couple of years, And my adrenaline was so high, I just crashed. Like everything crashed. Like I was having a hard time, like energy for anything. Cause you got to think adrenaline's like a drug. So when you come off of it, what happens? And that's that. I went through that stuff too. But, what I didn't expect to happen is our phones blew up from around the country. Around the world. I did interviews that were, reporters in Japan and all over the place. But what I didn't expect is our phones blew up with business owners wanting to know what we did. So I immediately diverted from what my goal was to help open as many businesses as possible. And I was working 16 hours a day around the clock. I was emailing out our attorney waivers, telling what we did, stand with the Constitution, pray to God that the governor comes at you with everything that they have. There's only one guy that I helped push off the edge, which is Ian in Jersey, that the governor came at him with everything, and he's going to own their ass. Like it's already said and done for all these people. They violated all of his constitutional rights. And I think that's one reason that we didn't get that is because I was so vocal about it online. Like I was calling Newsom out on the international news.
I mean, you only had a banner of him.
Yep. Off the freeway.
Yeah. So, but that was pretty cool helping. I mean, like I'd have to go through my phone and try to recontact all of them, but I would say at least the very minimum, like me directly dealing with, and then, I taught them how to teach people to do the same thing, would probably be a couple hundred businesses of all types of businesses that we opened at that time, which was a pretty heated time. You got half of society believe in the media and, it's a major death virus and all this stuff, but the cold and flu vanished all of a sudden. So,
funny how that works, right?
Yeah.
It's essentially like the way I see it now is like it just created a really, really big divide. You mentioned something earlier about like they're hurting the middle class. I don't even think there is a middle class, if I'm going to be honest.
Well, with this inflation, which is intentional, to also hit the middle class, there's still a middle class right now. But if we're not very careful and we don't make some major changes in the future, we're going to go.
No, inflation's going to go higher.
Yep.
And there won't be a middle class.
Nope. There'll be a poor and a rich.
$8 gallon of milk.
Mm-hmm.
$10 a gallon of milk.
Shit, that's what it's at now. Organic gallon of milk's like $10, isn't it?
Like $10.96 or some of those. Pretty soon, regular milk is going to be that high.
Mm-hmm.
And let's not hope it's going to get there because that's just going to cause a bunch of shit because then gas is going to be like $15 a gallon too.
Mm-hmm.
But you're right about this, about that they have a situation to, like, they want to control something. And I feel that all the stuff that had happened, I mean, this is all opinion. Obviously, our opinion, Jake's opinion, JP's opinion. JP, you're 20 years younger than us. I mean, so you're only seeing one avenue. We've been in this game for a little while. But to add to your point is know what's happening. Know your surroundings, what's going on, get educated. There's a fucking reason this is called expand, not just for fucking expanding your knowledge about real estate, but expanding shit that I did not know right now. So this is why it's like, don't be that person that is thinking that you fucking know everything when there's something always more to learn and it's right under your nose that you fail to fucking read and pay attention to what's happening around you, to be honest with you, because there's a reason for it. And this is why, like, I was excited about having you here. This is why I'm like looking forward to more conversations right now and that we're going to get into. And now walk us through this. After this whole stuff that happened, man, I mean, you got everybody looking at you. You have, you got to feel a certain way, like, fuck, okay, now I got all eyes on me.
Mm-hmm.
And what's really going on? And then what happens in January?
Well, let's go. Let me go back a little bit just because of what you touched on right there. Think of this, and everybody's family is guilty of it. How many times have you heard somebody say, I don't talk religion, I don't talk politics?
Fucking every time. Everybody says that.
That is an indoctrination done through the school system at a young age that went all the way through. your parents, my parents, their parents, all that stuff.
My dad didn't give a fuck.
Exactly.
My dad said, you know what? I will talk to you about religion. I will talk to you about politics.
Exactly.
You know, Trump is the fucking way to go.
Right.
Anybody else, fuck him. You know, but literally, that's what he would say.
Yeah, I know. I love it.
You say that because as a kid, I remember, because I'm only 24, I was in elementary school like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So I remember not being able to talk about religion because it was the wrong thing to do, not realizing all they're doing is taking your ability away to critically think.
Well, not only that, but they've taken God out of the schools. And I've never been a real religious guy, but I like going, like all the stuff that I've witnessed, experienced, and all that. What's going on right now is a spiritual warfare. So what a better way than the enemy to make people think that he's not there by not talking religion, not talking politics, because they go hand in hand. That's why we pledge of allegiance. It's on our money. God is part of what this country is. And if they God we trust it, yep. And if they remove it, what does it do to the morals of society? Like a lot of people can't manage their actions, especially, like different ages and hormones and stuff like that.
And you said something now. It's like it gives you something to like, hey, to look forward to. Honestly, and if you got that taken away from you, so a belief, whatever that belief is, if it's gone, what do you got?
Yeah, what do you stand for?
What do you stand for? Exactly. This is why it's like, why not talk about like whoever you believe in? That's it.
Well, look at
and
this.
Don't take it away from people because yeah.
They don't want anybody to talk about God in school or anything else, but then they'll cram the devil down your face in the halftime shows the last 4 years of the Super Bowl and the Grammys and all this shit. It's real shit that's going on right now. Satanic cults have been around the world forever. And if you research Putin, which a lot of people don't like him, but he's a bad motherfucker. And he and what it is he's never confided to the central bank system. So he's over there saying, you're not coming in my country. This is my country. Whether we like how he runs it or not, a lot of that shit's fake news. But he's always said, if you can find his interviews everywhere, America is run by a bunch of Satanists. Hollywood? What's Hollywood? These people pouring blood all over themselves and they're in marketing now. What's that one that just went through the fashion company? Bossyling?
Yes.
That means Baal is king. That's what that means. Baal is the devil. That's what that means. It's a whole other case.
Even in their marketing campaign, they include some documents, some pedophilia that support that evidence.
Mm-hmm.
That's just, yeah.
I mean, go down. That's another rabbit.
Yeah, that's a whole nother. Yeah, that could be a whole nother show in itself.
But to get back on track about removing belief from people, whoever they believe in. I mean, obviously, it's on our currency. In God we do trust. Mm-hmm. I'm not a completely religious person, but I do have faith and I do believe. And, I was raised Catholic and First Holy Communion and everything else, not to make this, session about religion, but we're going to fucking talk about it. I mean, we're talking about this, we're talking about politics, we're talking about what happened, what's our opinion. This is an opinion of, of how we think, right? Doesn't mean it's right or wrong, but I mean, gas is gas across the board. So why are you going to AM, Chevron, 76? It's all fucking the same.
Yeah,
it's all the same, but it has a different mask on it. That's literally what it is.
Yep.
So talking about this now, I want to know, because I've been waiting to ask you. Lead us up to this January 6th, man.
Okay. So
please.
So imagine dealing with a year of bullshit. Like we had, when we shut down, they sent in, I think it was like 4. I never even seen these officers before. They sent in they seem like they're 7 foot tall, like they wanted to intimidate. So they send in 4 officers that they know I'm not going to know because I don't know where they're from. And the biggest guys they got. Right. They come in and they ask me, they're like, hey, can we talk to you for a minute? I was like, yeah, sure. Come in my office. So I sat them down and they're like, we're here to ask you to shut down. And I said, well, you just asked that question correctly because you're here to ask. You can't make me. So, and I'm not, and I told them, I was like, I respect what you guys are doing to an extent. Right now I don't, but I respect your jobs and know that you have somebody telling you to do it. but we're not shutting down. And then I let her read a couple messages that I got from some vets. One of them was literally like anticipating committing suicide, like gun in his mouth, when one of my interviews came across the news. And like his wife left him, his dog just died, like damn, fuck situation. So I was just like there for him because he reached out to me. And I was like, here's a couple of reasons as why. And they're like, well, we'll come back in a week and see how everything's going. I was like, well, do me a favor. Don't come back in a week because you're going to waste your time, you're going to waste my time, and you're going to waste taxpayers' money. So the answer is going to be the same. And I was like, do me a favor and take this message back to your boss, tell him to get it to his boss, till this gets to Newsom. Tell him I said, suck my fucking dick. And they were like, yeah. And they were like, what the heck? So they never came back.
I would expect it. Damn, Jake.
There, I mean, I wanted that. I wanted the fight with that guy. He never, and I think that he knew it too, because you're only going to win so far, especially after all this stuff's done. We see it now. We see everything coming around now. But yeah, so that happened, and then imagine a year of that type of stuff.
Right.
You know, we got a cease and desist letter from Newsom and his attorney separately. We sent him back a copy of the Constitution and the "At Gavin Newsom Nurse These Nuts" shirt that we did. And like we were picking on him. We were putting the 20-foot by 20-foot banners up, him with a Hitler mustache and all that stuff. Like we knew that we were in the right. We weren't doing anything wrong. So if you know that you're doing what's right, especially for people, you're never going to be in the wrong. Yeah, right. It might be rough. It might be a battle, whatever. But you're never going to be in the wrong.
But that's it. Yeah,
exactly. So imagine, knowing or like being into stuff like that, like I am, and then dealing with all the heat from around, like, I mean, people have no ideas on trolls and all that stuff. And then how much of it's fake and created by bot accounts and all the stuff that comes from pushing back on their narrative through the system that they can, like, and then them using the systems they control, like the mainstream media and all the other resources. That year was full battle mode, nonstop. Like there was a time when there was protests going on in Apple Valley, and I have like 5 or 6 police officers that live on my street. And when they were doing the protests, which it was probably a false flag from the FBI, but the FBI sent a memo to the police department saying that the BLM and Antifa was going to hit Spring Valley Lake because it's highly conservative. They're going to do whatever they do. So before the feds took my accounts, I still had my account this time. I posted on my story. Let me rewind a little bit. They also told me that my name was on top of the list. So if this is true, on top of the list to hit Spring Valley Lake.
Right. Okay.
So I was like, all right. So I did a post on my story just saying, hey, word on the street is Antifa and whoever, they're going to come raid and loot or whatever Spring Valley Lake. So I'm having a party. Bring your friends and bring your guns. And we literally had a party, like not a rager, but like we were prepared for it. So they twist that narrative. They twist that narrative to I'm going to go shoot up protesters. And they always throw the gym in there. The gym owner is going to go shoot up protesters. Because the cancel culture, if they can't get rid of you, like financially, then they're going to attack the next thing.
Right.
And including your spouse and anybody around you. So imagine a year of all that bullshit.
Okay.
And then Trump says, hey, I'm having a rally. We need everybody to show up.
Let's go. Yeah.
Go.
Yeah.
So literally show up, go to the rally. It was badass. It was like the energy in that place, or not in that place, just at DC that day was
phenomenal.
It was, yeah, that was 2 million people, dude. The media doesn't fucking say what's real. Yeah. There's 2 million people there. And it was like, and then they say white supremacists and all that bullshit. Whites were the minority. The heaviest pushers there were the Chinese Americans pushing out NCCP, which is Chinese Communist Party, all their literature, banners, cars, signs, everything they could do, like to push the word to like fight for America because they've seen this before in China.
Wow.
Okay. So the media doesn't talk about that shit.
I don't say that. No.
So, And I didn't even know that we were going to the Capitol, but so when he said Trump's like, yeah, let's go to the Capitol. So I was like, all right, cool. I went with.
So explain that. Like, clearly Trump's having a rally in DC, right? And how far is that rally from the actual Capitol?
It was like almost an hour walk.
Okay.
It's like 45 minutes to.
Trump's literally like, hey, let's go walk over there.
Yeah, well, he was gonna take the.
Oh, okay.
Like the plan was because there was an organized protest at the Capitol that had permits. And then also Trump offered 20,000 National Guard to Pelosi the weeks before, and she denied all of it.
For that protest.
So that's, yeah, just to make sure it was good, right?
Yeah. So, there's so much cool shit. So yeah, I marched over to the Capitol with however many people, and I didn't even have anybody that I went with me. It was just me. And there's some stuff I saw that there's definitely Antifa. I saw buses coming in, unloading people. I saw, people changing and, behind buildings and stuff into Trump gear. And it like,
Really?
oh yeah.
And
Here's the thing.
It's crazy. Okay.
Here's the thing. The shit that's coming out right now on the media, I've been saying this since day one. So,
So the guy with the horns wasn't at the Trump rally.
no, he was there, but you haven't seen the video that just came out?
No, I did.
Yeah.
That was just
Yeah, no, he wasn't at the rally. No, I didn't see him anywhere. That guy was a straight actor too. It's all a show, man. Even like I believe, and I got video of it too, to prove it. Ashley Babbitt was all an act job. It was fake. The cop, the Sitnik, they've already proved that now with the video footage coming out. The time they said that he was killed, he was inside the Capitol just being a tour guide.
The timeline was very significant too, like how they tried to paint it, because I know at the time that the Capitol was being broke into, Trump was still doing his rally.
Well,
right?
what they did is they had the actors, the antagonizers, go there, do a big hocus pocus scene, get all the video footage, and then everybody else came in after that. Doors were open, like it was a tour. It was a straight up tour.
Capitol's open. I'm gonna walk in there too.
Well, and here's the thing. The Capitol is our building. We can go in at it. Like you can go tour the Capitol anytime. We own it. It's the people's building. And then per the Constitution, if you really want to get real insurrectionist, per the Constitution, the people can come in and remove physically any invalid leaders. Whole fucking place is full of invalid leaders.
Yeah.
So that right there, per the Constitution, is legal. And then also, it's our building. It's legal. You look at Google the day of, it had hours of business open. It was open on Google. So you think about, we couldn't get within 200 or 2 miles of the White House, give or take, a big distance. But we're able to walk into the fucking Capitol. It's
with doors
at the end of the day. Yeah, with doors open, the most secure place in the world.
You can walk in.
Come on, man.
I saw videos of like cops guiding people.
Dude, I got video on their phone and people were high-fiving them, telling them they love them.
Yeah, once I saw like cops letting people in, I was like, dude, what are we?
I stormed the Capitol. That was the thing, right? You broke into the Capitol. I mean, come on.
Exactly. And they needed it for media play because they were trying to cover up a lot of other stuff at the time. And they needed something to make the unselect committee and all that stuff. Those people all need to go down for treason because there's still people in jail that did the same thing that I did. They're prisoners of war. What's going on right now is America's a two-part system. It's not Democrats and Republicans. It's America and it's the incorporated America.
Whoa.
So that's what's going on. There's a war going on behind the scenes that nobody knows about. We think that it's all fine and dandy because we go to work and we watch what they tell us on a screen, but they can make all that shit.
No, yeah.
CGI, all that stuff.
Let's dive into a little bit more of like January 6th, because now like what it starts unraveling in my head is obviously you had a whole year of just battling your own beliefs and standing for them. And now you end up in a place across the country when the Capitol just happens to get broken into.
Or raided.
Oh, I went in the Capitol. I was in it.
No, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So I would have gone too, by all means. Like, why wouldn't I? But at that point, did you start? Yeah, like what happened after? Because I know you started to get in like blown up on social media, like, oh, Jake flew out to the Capitol.
This is the breakdown. I went, took the tour of the Capitol all the way through it. I was in it for like 7 minutes. And I was observing, and there's certain people that I could tell were definitely Antifa. I mean, they're in fucking pretty much full military gear. Their pupils were all blacked out. That's like a common thing that I've seen with a lot of people in the government that just are completely like lost.
On. Yeah.
Or like people like that. They're always, their pupils are black. Dealt with it at Homeland Security. I dealt with it with TSA, FBI, all of them. The only ones that I didn't see any of that in was the U.S. Marshals. And they were wanting to let me out the back door when I got arrested because they were like, this is fucking bullshit. So what happened is I took the tour, stayed around outside a little bit, walked back to the train, and went back to the room. And when I got to the room, the media was hidden. And it was like not at all what you experienced. Yeah. And I was like, what the fuck, these motherfuckers. So I did a post on my social media at the time that was labeling out what was going on. That's coming to light now, right, 2 years later, that everybody thought was a conspiracy theory. And everything I labeled out from Antifa to all of it is coming out now. So, and the only reason I brought that up is because a while back, a guy that used to follow me found my new page after the feds wiped all my social medias out and PayPals and Zells and Venmos and all that shit. He found me and he's like, hey, Ro, like he asked me some questions to make sure it was me. And he sent me a screen capture of what I posted. He's like, I wanted to save this for you because I knew they were going to wipe all your shit. And
really,
yeah, it was pretty cool. But long story short, what happened after that? So I went back, came home. I think around January 20th, they came to the gym. I wasn't there. And the feds, FBI, little dweebs. So now one of them was kind of cool, but the one was straight, like he was just wearing a mask, like off of his little list, like just, you could tell his lunch money was taken away a couple times as a kid. So yeah, they came and I was honest with them. I was like, yeah, I went in, so what? It's our building, didn't do anything wrong. And these are the people that, yeah. And I was giving information on, shit that I saw that was off. And like, the Antifa guys, they were doing this. So this is 666. The Antifa guys were like signaling their people and like giving them props like that. So I was trying to like give them information like that. And then they went back to their list and it was like, are you a white supremacist? I told him he was fucking stupid. And then,
man, I see that question.
Yeah, well, it's all the agenda-based shit. They got it printed out.
Right.
He had to stick to the agenda to try to get anything to
incriminate you.
Fuck with me more.
Yeah, for sure.
So, like, are you a Proud Boy? Are you a QAnon? There's so much shit that was just like, I literally told him, I was like, dude, you're a fucking idiot. Like, damn, it makes sense what they're doing, but to the person that has like a real personality,
yeah,
it doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean? So there was that. They left, and then about a week later, 6 a.m, they roll in, and then they're like, "We need your phone." And I was like, "Why?" And then they're like, "Well, when I was like getting like snotty with them, he's like, and we have an arrest warrant for you too." I was like, "You're really gonna fuck with me right now?"
6 a.m, they came to your house?
Yeah. And then you're really gonna fuck with me right now when there's fucking people out burning down streets and beating old ladies and doing all this shit? You're gonna come after me? And I was like, you're a dweeb. And then long story short, well, here's the one good thing is at that time, there's a documentary out called Capital Punishment, the movie.com. It's legit for the most part. There's some stuff that I don't agree with, but whatever. And it shit, I forgot where I was going to go with that. So where was I just saying before that?
After they came in, something that was going to happen after you got arrested, or
yeah. So so at the time, everybody that was getting arrested, and it was a bunch of people like us that was getting arrested. Cops, firefighters, military, all that stuff, business owners, whatever. Damn it, I just did it again. I have a damn brain freeze right now.
It's okay. So the good part about
sorry, let me go backwards again.
Okay.
So at the time, the FBI was straight like raiding people's houses with their kids in it. I'm talking smoke grenades, blowing out windows, you name it.
to normal people in their house?
It would have been done to me too, but somebody in the police department did some type of vouching or something, and the guy even said it. The guy that was there, he said, "Hey, we came to get you early so that you can get out tonight," and we told him that, you know, you weren't going to be a problem and all this stuff. So if it would have been any other situation, if people didn't know my character, then it would have been a whole nother outcome.
Yeah, what are they gonna do? Break in your house?
They do. Yeah,
raid it completely, and you're not even selling drugs. You're not doing anything fucking wrong. You took a tour, and this is what's happening.
This is a bit it's for the Constitution.
Yep.
It's just that's
And for your rights.
Yep.
Huh.
So I got arrested.
What date did you get arrested?
I think it was like the 27th of January or something like that. So I get arrested, go through the whole process down in Redlands, get out that night. By the time I got out, they kept my phone. By the time I got out,
what was the arrest warrant for? Like,
it was entering and remaining in the Capitol, misdemeanor, and disorderly conduct, something misdemeanor. That was the first two. They added two more. So get this. After January 6th, they put a bill through to create more laws to criminalize people.
No way. Okay.
So after that passed, they added two more to me. So what it was picketing and parading in the Capitol. And then,
without a permit, I'm sure.
Yeah. And the permit's the Constitution.
Correct.
So, and I don't remember what the other one was, but long story short, with federal stuff, it's not like state. Like, you get that in the state, you're just fine,
right?
Maybe a little bit of probation or something. But federal, they can, like, look at Wesley Snipes when he fought the IRS. They gave him consecutive terms. So he had 4 charges. They put a year on each of them. So it's 4. You have to serve one to go to the next one, to go to the next one, to go to the next one. So you're serving like 90% of the time.
Right.
So, yeah, they hit me with that. But the main thing is, you got to think about the media. And it's a mass destruction weapon in this country. And I've experienced it firsthand. If the media can paint a picture on anybody they want to turn society on them, because society is so emotionally engaged, especially after COVID, they're so emotionally engaged. Like, how is this not a crime? Like, and I'm going to give you an example right now. When I got out, I was using my girl's phone. One of my friends sent a screen capture of the Google page, like, the white page.
Yeah.
Had a picture of me on it. The gym owner that defied COVID arrested for felonies and firearms.
You're arrested for felony and firearms when that wasn't even why you even got arrested.
But now think about this. When everybody sees that, how many people, whether they were on your side, will turn on you?
Everybody.
And the ones that weren't.
Because they're so ingrained to the fucking TV.
So if anybody that's not alert enough to know
or knows you,
like, yeah, exactly. And even people that knew me, like, there's guys that I knew that were retired police officers sending me messages telling me I'm a traitor. And I was like, shut up, stupid. You're going to regret it.
Damn, dude. I mean, that's just to be good because they're drinking the fucking sauce.
Kool-Aid, yep.
Damn.
So, I mean, there's tons of those types of stories. So I literally, it's coming right now. Like, for me, I'm just sitting back and just waiting, because I've had more civil rights violations done on me than anybody that you could probably think of.
I'm sure. Just listening.
And then, well, let's go a little bit further. So now I'm like, now that I got arrested, they put an ankle monitor on me. I lawyer up, get my attorneys, I get all that shit off. But I have to ask for permission to leave the Central District of California. You have to check in like all the time. They can pop by your house, whatever. And this is all before I'm sentenced. Like, none of that shit should have been anything.
No, because you're innocent.
But you're not. You're guilty before proven innocent. So, whoa.
It's switched.
Yeah.
Right? It's already switched.
Yeah. It's very true. So,
it's a good thing this ain't live right now, because we probably have people walking in. I'm just kidding. Yeah.
Shit. So where was I going with that?
Innocent, but you're not. You're guilty.
Yeah.
So,
what was I saying right before that, though? You hit my head a couple times.
They put all these stipulations on you before they.
Oh yeah. So get this. So let's go backwards to 9/11. 9/11. Now, let me tell you my story on 9/11. I was 17 years old. I just graduated high school. And this is what really got me into paying attention to what's going on in the world. And it just so happened that I went to my aunt and uncle's house down in Huntington Beach, and I watched a documentary on controlled demolitions. And then 9/11 happened. So I was filled with some knowledge on
controlled demolitions.
And then I'm sitting here watching planes hit the towers, and these skyscrapers that have beams in them bigger than this room completely fall straight down. And I was the one that pointed out all the people in my family. I was like, that's a controlled demolition. That doesn't make any sense.
Just crumbled into pieces.
Yeah, just crumble into pieces. So what came from 9/11? What'd they do? They created a little bit of fear. Fear. Oh, we'll fix it for you. We'll get the bad terrorists. Just give us some of your freedoms. Just give us a little bit. Same thing they did with COVID. Same exact thing. Fear, freedoms. They give fear, and they trade you for some of your freedom to make it go away. Right? So 9/11, Patriot Act. Look into the Patriot Act. What came from the Patriot Act? TSA and Homeland Security.
Mm-hmm.
You used to be able to walk through the airport.
Easily.
Getting searched and seized like that is a constitutional violation that we wrote off on through the Patriot Act. So now, fast forward to 2021, they're labeling people that support America domestic terrorists like me. Imagine being a terrorist
in America
and going through the airport, which is TSA and Homeland Security, which was stemmed from 9/11. So they're using what they created against American people, and I'm not the only one.
Right.
You know, it's all the people that were affiliated with January 6th are domestic terrorists. So imagine the treatment that you get from TSA and Homeland Security. I would order packages like that Halloween. I ordered a costume 4 months before Halloween. It showed up 6 months after Halloween with Homeland Security tape all around.
No shit.
Yep. And along with a bunch of other shit.
I'm sure.
But
don't buy your name.
Yeah, exactly. Well, even like my girl's name. Like there was before this,
company names now.
Mm-hmm. There was I went to Cancun with some friends, and I bought the plane tickets. This is before. This is like, I think the beginning of COVID, or I don't know when it was before January 6th. And whenever they would travel, they were getting 4 S's on their ticket too. So I that's one way you could tell is they 4 S's on the bottom corner of your ticket. And I called up somebody I know that works for TSA, and I had her like look my name up, and she called me back. She was busting up laughing. She's like, dude, you're a domestic terrorist. You're a 3.5 out of whatever their rating is stars. So I was like, damn, it's kind of like Grand Theft Auto. That sucks. I need another one.
Yeah, 5 stars.
Yeah. No, but yeah, man. So, you know, think about all those civil rights violations, and like it takes a toll on the body and on the family. And
your mental health too, bro.
Oh, dude, yeah.
It's got to be game changing.
Oh yeah, you gotta have thick skin, man. And I didn't get through it unscathed or perfectly. Like there was a time where I was drinking too much, and you know, like
because at the end of the day, it's like, all right, we live in the greatest country, but is it really the greatest country? Because stuff like this that I'm listening to and I'm hearing, and it's like, well, fuck. I mean, we still can go do what we need to do, but at what price?
Yeah,
like you just said. They instill fear, and then for a little bit of your freedom.
Mm-hmm.
They instill more fear for more freedom. It's crazy.
I want to touch on that because you clearly have a really, I guess you could say, broad idea of the whole agenda of COVID. You mentioned that they instilled fear to take freedom. What fear did they essentially? Well, we know what fear did they instilled. What did they essentially take from us this time?
Right.
Think about it. Well, think about what's been laid out from COVID, vaccine mandates, but shut your business down, stay home, like all that right there. Just stay home. It's okay. There's some of your freedom. There's a lot of your freedom. Shut your business down. There's the rest of your freedom. Don't travel. Wear a mask. You know, wearing a mask doesn't work. That's a fucking mosquito flap or a chain link fence.
It's the stupidest thing.
But it's a control thing, because then there's no, like, you're walking through a mall. If anybody that abided by it, I feel sorry for, but you're walking through a mall and you have a mask on, and the people around you have a mask on. Now think about how awkward people are now. Like, you can't, like, there's a lot of people you can't even look in the eye when you walk by and say hi, because they're like,
You know what COVID did?
It's a trip. You're right about
it. It eliminated conversations at the grocery store and line.
Yep. Oh, for sure.
You didn't want to talk to anybody.
Like, you think about that. Now,
everywhere.
If I'm like this waiting for a cup of coffee at Starbucks, the lady like, oh, how you doing?
Dude, I was a
You
huge,
have a nice day. They'll look at you funny.
yeah, I didn't wear a mask anywhere and I refused. I got to the point where I was telling them to call the cops and like, if you continue to press this on me, I'm not going to support this business straight up. Because then they'd try to tell me like, oh, well, they'll come in and shut us down. And I was like, you're talking to the wrong person. This is my spew to everybody that would go. You're talking to the wrong person. Like, they're not going to do shit. They can't. Like, you're talking to somebody that probably the only person that you could talk to with the experience of it, and you're not listening. You know what I mean?
That's just through it. That's
Yeah,
through it.
exactly. And it's just because they're so emotionally charged. Like, think about everything these days. Like, you look in the media, it's all about feelings. Well, I'm sorry, but sometimes life doesn't give a fuck about feelings. So
No, that doesn't give a fuck.
Feelings should never supersede logic, ever.
No.
And when it comes to the government needs to be shrunk. We've let the government get way too big. We shouldn't have an income tax. That's another thing that's illegal as fuck. You know, go way back to the First World War.
Income tax on the taxes on the money that you make, you get taxed on. Plus, you pay taxes on the things that you buy. So it's like, okay, you're triple taxed.
Yeah.
What about triple taxed?
So that relates to probably
Yeah, that's funny.
75% of your income. Seriously though, you get taxed on your income, which that should just, if that was going to be it, that should be it.
Right.
You go buy a car,
You get
pay
taxed.
tax. Then you get taxed on the car every year.
Right.
And then you get taxed on the tires. And then you get taxed on the oil and the gas. And the state, the governor can change the price.
It's a trip when you start thinking about it like that, though.
Yeah.
Honestly.
So what is that? When you're getting hit with more than 70% of your income, even 50, fuck that, even 40, even 30, that's slavery. And that's what they're trying to do. They look at us like ants. So what can they do to get the ants to go where they want to go? And they do it with bills and laws and everything else. And that's where everybody needs to throttle back and start to get involved. Because once we get involved, and we run this place, so this is our country. I don't give a fuck how fancy the pen is that some politician has. Numbers don't lie. And when the numbers stick together, they can't stop us. Because then at that point, I mean, look what just happened in Brazil. I don't know if you saw what happened in Brazil, but Bolsonaro, they call him the tropical Trump. He was cheated out of an election. They installed a criminal in Brazil. The people have been in the streets by the like 50 million plus protesting. The military just sided with the people. So, I mean, I think it's going on around the world. We're sheltered from a lot of it right now.
For sure we are. Yeah.
So look,
Got a point there.
Yeah, I want to touch on that because I'm clearly, like Omar mentioned, 20 years younger than you guys. You know, I'm growing up in a generation that has 10 times more pussies than you guys did, just straight up. So for those few individuals that I guess you could say have that sense of awareness, have that ability to cope or think, what encouragement or words of advice can you give them when they are going against the grain? Because I'm going to be honest with you, Jake, what you went through, 1 out of probably 100 people can endure that. Mentally.
Mentally.
Yeah.
If that.
So what type of words of encouragement, inspiration, or even just like, you know, believe in what you believe can you give to people that are my age that are going to be running this country in the next 30 to 50 years?
Don't be afraid to offend people, first thing. And definitely do not be afraid to be a man. Your age group more than ever, the males
I want to go into.
Yeah, the males are attacked more than anybody. You look at the testosterone levels, you know, all the vaccines that they're forcing down these kids' throats. When I was a kid, by the time you're 15, 3 vaccines. It was like,
That was it.
it's chickenpox, something else.
That was it. That's it.
Now, a 15-year-old, if you were born like right now, years ago,
My little girl.
yep, they want to have like 87
You
vaccines.
have like high school vaccines now. I know.
And
It's so dumb.
so with that right there, stay away from vaccines. All of them, they're all bad.
So what do you tell the kid that,
But that's where I'm going to go into.
yeah,
Masculinity is a good thing. We need masculinity. We need strong men in this country. We need a fighting force. People think that we don't because it's all fucking roses and everything else, but no. America is always under attack. I mean, for what
Yeah.
can come.
Can come. Yep.
If America is wiped out, then they can do their plan with the one with globalization. So the Constitution is their biggest enemy. So don't be afraid to be a fucking man. Like straight up. Like and also watch what you eat, watch what you drink, because they're putting shit in the foods. And it's going to sound crazy, but look at men these days. How many soft men do you see? And then how many, look at what the internet did with me. All those soft men came after me. They were like Arnold.
One person that came after you was in shape. I'm just going to throw it out there.
Exactly. So they're hitting the testosterone on males, because some days, at some point, a boy will become a man. And when their fighting ages, they say 18 to 49 or something. So if they can make that whole age group in a couple generations down the road, so soft betas, then there's no fighting force. How easy is it to take this country over? So the young males need to open their eyes, and it's okay to be a man.
That goes back to a dangerous man is not a man in power. A dangerous man is a weak man in power.
Yeah.
So giving advice to those few individuals that you kind of just said, be aware of what you're doing, have more belief in what you're doing. For example, you just mentioned, you made a really good point about the vaccines, and I'm sure this is things a lot of people can relate to. A kid's going into high school. He has a strong belief system in what he wants out of his life, what he believes for. He loves his country, but this high school tells him he can't get into the school without these 87 vaccines, and his parents are like, hey, you have to get these vaccines.
You don't have to. Yes.
Well, yeah, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, but that's what's crazy. This takes us on another topic for sure. But
yeah, just to touch on it a little
this spring, it goes backwards. You brought up a good point. It's not, we don't need to address, we need to address the young men and women, but it starts with the parents. If the parents aren't teaching their kids to stand up for what they believe is right, and that's one thing my mom always did with me. I was majority raised by my mom, but she was tough, luckily. So, if the kids don't stand up for themselves, and they're not taught to stand up for themselves, they should not be who knows? It could be a teacher that's trying to touch them or something, and that kid should have full right to light off on them. You know what I mean? Let it fall into place after that. Always protect yourself, protect people around you, protect your country. So the problem is there's been so many kids that have been raised with an iPad or a tablet or the fucking TV. And who owns that? Who's putting all that information out there? Why is ADHD through the roof?
No one can focus because of all the shit that's happening.
Right, exactly. Well, it's because on the screens, everything that they're watching is so fast. That's why they need everything now, and they throw fits when they don't have it, because it's activated that in their brain. So you see these parents that raise their kids with an iPad or an iPhone to shut them up because they don't want to raise them because they're bugging them or something. Or you see these parents that are like, oh, just give them this. And they're giving some bullshit snack with folate in it. And it causes all the kids' snacks have folate in it. So all that fake shit, you should be feeding your kids fruits and meat, not all the other bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the main problem. But going back to the young men, be a fucking man. Don't be afraid of it.
Yeah.
And, don't be a douchebag. Love and respect everybody. But when it comes time for it, if you're tested, I was always raised, don't ever go start it, but somebody hits you, you hit them back hard.
Right, you're not going to test it.
No.
You're not. No.
Yeah. And I mean that metaphorically too. Somebody hits you in any way that is to hurt you or your family,
or you feel threatened.
Yeah.
Yeah. That goes back to don't be a gardener at war, be a warrior in the garden.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think this would be a fun topic to go into and probably wrap up on. What are your thoughts on Andrew Tate and everything?
Fucking Tate, I swear to God. So we're gonna throw something out there, right?
So that's all. That's all the because the deep state people. He didn't do any of that shit. What it is every month they're extending him 30 days.
Mm-hmm.
So it's because in that court system they can extend it 30 days and hold it. And they can do it for 6 or 8 months. I don't remember what the time was. So what they're trying to do is spank him for being a bad boy and pushing back. I don't think it's going to happen with him. At least I hope not. But and everybody has to remember with Andrew Tate, that guy's a lot more educated than people think.
Dude, look, it's crazy how smart he is.
Well, it's because of his dad.
Mm-hmm.
And again, going back to parents and their kids, what does dad teach him? His dad was a CIA operative.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know about.
One thing that I think one of the main things that he would always touch on is depression only exists is because, your society has shoved it down your throat. I'm not saying people don't struggle with mental health, But like, if you wake up every single day and claim that you're depressed, and you let a therapist tell you like you're depressed, you're never going to get anywhere.
And then and then that's another thing.
And it's a prescription pill. Here you go.
Yeah. Here you go. To be more masculine, to be, you know, a positive figure, a provider. And obviously there was things that he said that were funny. They were kind of funny, but of course that's what you did. You were and it's crazy because his main message was to uplift men.
Yeah.
And he was, in a sense,
They don't want that.
That's crazy.
So the system doesn't want that. What are they doing to him right now?
Yeah.
They're creating.
The system didn't like that I was loud on the media, and when they told me they were going to shut down my power, I said, I don't care, I'll have a backup generator here in 3 hours. Like, they don't like that type of stuff, because then what it does is it triggers young guys like you to like, wait a minute, when everybody around them is like, oh, you need to be nice, you need to be, well, yes, nice, but you need to be soft, you need to be, let's pay the government. Yeah. The government will take care of it for us. Don't worry about it.
We need to close down shop and stop creating any money to feed you. It's fine. Let's close it all down right now.
Yep.
Like, really?
Yeah, we're your daddy.
Uh-huh.
And some people don't need a daddy. So just be that person that doesn't need a daddy, and then you'll be the daddy.
Easy. Funny you say that shit right now, because I remember talking to my dad about this, and it just stemmed something up about, hey, are we going to close or are we not going to close? No, Michael, we're going to keep going because people still need to eat. People still need to eat. And I'm like, all right, Pop, that's cool. Whatever. Let's do it.
Kind of like,
but you know what? When you do get to, you know, he was a little older, you know, susceptible to more stuff in general, period.
Yeah.
Right? Because he's 70 some years old, 78. No, actually he was, 78. And that year, you know, we ended up losing him, which sucks. But he was there
every day,
every fucking
time
day,
I went, and he was pimped out too.
Pimped out all the time.
Yeah.
And he says, like, if I can feed someone, I'm going to.
Yeah.
And that's fucking dope.
Because I told you earlier, the byproduct of helping people is just money. That's not the important part's not money. The money keeps everything going, and, you know, obviously, but the first thing should always be helping people.
It's funny you say that, because I always tell people money is a reward for service rendered.
Yeah.
So go render some more service and you'll make more money.
No, it's just a byproduct. That's all it is. But check this out real quick. Since we were talking about vaccines, let's look at do some research on the Amish community.
Okay.
They don't vaccinate. They eat off the land. They don't have all these electrical devices in their pockets and everything else.
Right.
And they have no cancer. They have no retardation. They have, I don't know why that's so funny, but they have no, what do you call it? Sorry, ADHD and autism.
Mm-hmm.
None of that stuff exists in the Amish community. And what are the Amish always made to be out? Crazy. Whack jobs. Like, what's the first thing that you think of when you hear the word Amish?
They're in their own little world.
Right. But what does the media paint them out to be? Crazy.
Different.
You know, whatever.
Just different.
Exactly. So,
you could probably that. Unplugged. That's what they are.
Yep, exactly. And then now, like, I just got in. So I was at one of the town hall meetings, and they're sitting there. They have all the politicians, the Republican too. And I'm pretty upset with Cook about it. But we got Mojave Narrows right here, right? I don't know if any of you guys go out there, but I go out there on my bike or my golf cart or whatever. The summertime's beautiful. Like, you can get away from everything. There's nobody out there. There's no technology, nothing. Well, I was in a town hall meeting, and Cook's representative was like, well, the state's broke, this and that. But good news is we got a grant. We're going to be putting Wi-Fi and cameras all over Mojave Narrows. What the fuck? Like, you're telling me we're broke and you just waste $1 million on this.
On Wi-Fi and cameras?
Yeah, and this was their excuse. I was like, people go there to get disconnected.
Yeah.
And you're trying to connect everybody everywhere. So you take free money, supposedly, but really it comes out of our pocket when you should have just left it and not spent it, put the money into law enforcement or something else. And you're going to put Wi-Fi and cameras all over a outdoor place that's for getting disconnected. I was like, you're out of your mind. Like, this needs to be appealed immediately. This is stupid. But anyways, I don't know why I went off on that tangent. Oh, but the Wi-Fi and all that stuff, they want to put it everywhere because then you're always going to have signals going through your body, which interferes with how your body works. Like, that's another thing. Like, in your room where you sleep,
Unbelievable.
you should have everything away from you. You'll sleep way better. your body will heal better, everything about it.
I
So
don't know who talked about this, but it kind of has to do with what we're talking about. We were never supposed to be this connected as a society.
mm,
You know, as far as like us knowing what Timbuktu is doing across the
yeah,
East Coast or wherever in the world, like we know in a split second.
What do they got going on? What aren't we doing?
yeah.
And we're
It's better in
comparing.
their life than our
Yeah,
life.
it's all bullshit.
That's what causes a lot of the mental health. Like it's great. It's great to like
To connect.
and, you know, but when you start comparing, like you should be doing what you want.
You know what good did come out of COVID in this whole like crazy past 3-4 years is the awareness of mental health.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you think about it, mental health wasn't talked about 8 years ago.
No, it was never talked about. Why? Because it didn't fucking exist. No, actually, you know what? It did exist, but
People didn't realize how much it mattered.
that and how connected you are to find out that people have an issue.
Right. Well,
Before, there was so many people that did have that issue, and they hung themselves or they blew themselves up, but we didn't hear about it, right? Because everybody now has social media, so connected. Oh, now it's a fucking thing.
yeah, well, get this. That's
It's another thing.
another touch that I want to add on is we had a new guy that just came on the team at the time. This is COVID time. Just came on the team due to, I think a lot of it had to do with the shutdowns. And then his girlfriend left him. 24-year-old kid, good looking guy, always had a smile on his face, like you would never guess. Blew his head off. Like, and then I come out, and that was my biggest push when we opened was mental health. And everybody said I was a whack job and in it for the money and this and that. But mental health was the number one reason, followed by freedom, because that's how fucked up society was, especially at the time. It still is. It's like we haven't rebounded from it. Nothing's normal. Like you still see people driving with their masks on, ready to pass out. You know, then you have the vaccines, which, you know, life insurance. I'm in the financial services business. Life insurance claims are up 40%. Every single one of them are vaccinated.
Really?
The difference is vaccinated. And then, you know, that's another one you can look up, Died Suddenly on Rumble. That's a good documentary where the people that, what is that called? Not the phlebotomists, but the people that dissect the body when they die to get them.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So whatever that is, they did a documentary, and like what it's doing is blood clotting and causing heart problems. And now the media is pushing, because they have to cover the deaths. They call it long COVID. It's not long COVID. It's the vaccine that's causing, you know, heart issues and seizures and all this shit, because it's interfering with the whole DNA system. So yeah, if the government ever, that's the best advice I have. If the government ever makes it so easy to get something, don't do it. And just don't do what they tell you anyway.
Hence EDD.
Yeah.
They like, why would people get $4,000 a month not doing shit?
Yeah, because they want them to, that's all part of the plan, man.
And every time that you're at the doctor's, they literally tell you, hey, do you want this shot, this shot? Fuck no, I don't want anything. I'm good.
Yeah.
Nope. Oh, you're behind on your flu shot.
Yeah.
You want a COVID booster? Fuck you. Are you serious? Come on.
Yeah, no, it's ridiculous, man. And it's,
That's another rabbit hole we can go down.
a lot of,
but you know what?
There's going to be, and soon, I don't know, within, you know, 2 years or 5 years, there is going to be heads rolling for treason. And it's not going to be in our federal court. It's going to be in tribunal courts, military. I honestly think a lot of them have already been happening, but they need to wake society up on a slow pace. And if I was wrong, all this shit wouldn't be coming to fruition with the Biden administration. Like if I was wrong, let's be real, all this shit would be covered up.
100%.
So that tells you right there, remember the two-part system, America and incorporated America. The good guys are on the America side. The incorporated America is all the other fucktards that are pushing all this shit.
Fucktards.
So my brain is
It was great, man.
like 3 things that I think I really took away from just like now speaking to you for almost like 2 hours and getting my good idea of everything. 3 things that I think our audience can really take away, and I want you to touch on this, is don't let anyone influence your decisions.
Absolutely.
Work hard as fuck.
Yep.
and your proximity of people around you is basically everything.
Yeah.
Right? Would it agree?
Well, so if you hang out with 5 bums, you're going to be the 6th. If you hang out with 5 millionaires, it might take you longer or shorter or whatever, but you'll be the 6th.
Yeah, 100%. Omar's always been super. I guess you could say he's always focused on that a lot. Like who's in your room, and this is why.
Yeah,
I'm still in this office almost 5 years later because the proximity of like what I constantly surround myself with, and I know how much it's expanding my mind. Like I'm 24, dude, and I get to have a conversation with you. You're extremely successful business owner, doing amazing things for not just yourself and your family, but your community.
Yeah.
Same thing for Omar. So really briefly, give like your most, I guess you could say your deepest advice from like the crevice of your heart that you generally want people to feel and apply to their own lives, whether it's business, their health, their relationships.
So the first thing is I don't want people taking away the wrong context with that. That doesn't mean, like go just seek out 5 millionaires and hang out. Like there's going to be people that need a hand, but you need to be able to identify if that hand is just like gimme, 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 like a welfare system, or a hand is in like helping develop and getting somebody out of poverty or whatever it is to a better position. Because, you'll make some of the best teammates like with people that don't have anything to offer as far as money or anything else, but you could see that there's a drive in them. There's a work ethic in them. So don't get that mixed up. But then also there's snakes in the grass. So remember that too. And that's just going to have to be something that, the younger guys learn on their own with thinking about that in the back of their head. Remember there's snakes in the grass, and that you should always be looking to help people out that deserve it and that want it and that will work for it. So
it meets you at the 50-yard line.
Exactly. Like you two, for example, you're in here all the time. Omar didn't have to do that, but how much work have you put in? How much have you proved yourself? That's what I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. So don't make sure not to get those two skewed. And then, sorry, ask the question again.
Well, just like the deepest advice, that you would give a
free flow, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let everybody know, like, hey, what's a good advice takeaway for the shit that you went through?
Yeah.
Right. But then what can you, because you are so far more advanced than a lot of people that are listening, and maybe people that are listening are going to take something away from this and be like, damn, all right. But at the end of the day, like, you went against the grain because of your belief.
Yeah.
And the thing is like you got to that point after losing it all. So it's like, what's something that you could give to the audience that's listening, that what JP just kind of said, asked you, but something that you can give them that they could be like, you know what, you're fucking right, man. Like, man up, fucking work, do what you got to do, and don't listen to the fucking bullshit.
When it comes to situations like that, basically I would say, like for me, I've lost it all and I've rebuilt it. Oh, I know that. I mean, I'm just in a better position now. I know that I'll come out even harder if something were to happen.
For sure.
And if the government were to say, I'm taking everything, all right, fucker's already been at the bottom. Like, it's not going to stop me. So don't be afraid to lose it all. Never be afraid to lose it all. Not saying to be extremely reckless, right. But don't be afraid to lose it all. If the government's threatening you, let's just use this for an example, like COVID, to shut your businesses down, take everything, your country's at a bad position at that point. So if you're not afraid to lose it all and lay something on the line, I mean, look at that one little butterfly effect of us, opening and just being loud about it on the media compared to people that maybe would just keep their door shut and like, oh, if we're not open, but like that, you know what I mean? Think about the influx that had across the country.
Oh yeah.
So even if everything was to be taken away, I never lost it all. Like it's still, you know what I mean? Like it really is. So with that, don't be afraid to lose it all. And like for younger guys like yourself, what I tell people is, I compare to a lot of my high school buddies and where they're at and, what I've done. I didn't do anything the easy way by any means. Like I've put myself in the hospital from accidents and all kinds of stuff throughout the years that really slows you down. But the first, I would say 10 years, 8 or maybe 5 to 10 years, call it 10, whatever. 10 years after high school, like I didn't have an education. I grew up extremely poor. I didn't have anybody to like do anything to help me in any way. So, you know, I started the 99-cent store, started landscaping company at the same time, then worked at the glass factory, and then worked out of that and got into getting my real estate license at a young age and doing all that type of stuff. So, damn, I just lost my train of thought right there. But, the 10 years, sorry. The 10 years, I compare myself to my friends and what they were doing for the first 10 years and what I was doing for the first 10 years. I was working 16-hour days, busting my ass off to get myself into a position to where I could fire my boss. And they were partying, just working like, 9 to 5 or whatever it is, a basic job, not doing anything extra. And they're in the same exact position pretty much.
Oh, yeah, I didn't think like that.
Yeah. So, I mean, you always have to pay a price when you're young, pay it sooner than later, and work your ass off and have a purpose. Don't just work to make money. Money is not shit. Money is just a byproduct. It's not worth shit. It's a piece of paper. Work for a purpose and make sure you're helping people, and then always have the best intent of people around you, and you can't go wrong. It may not happen overnight, but it'll happen.
Spot on.
Freaking badass, man. That was fire. Jake, I appreciate it, man. Thank you for being on.
Great job.
Yeah. Guys, you know what? Like, you guys got to subscribe. You got to make sure you guys click that link, subscribe to this, because you guys need to hear this episode 100%. The last thing that Jake said was have your purpose. And that's something that all of us do, everything that we do in life right now for a fucking purpose. Figure what that is and then double down on it. I mean, the money's going to come, the byproduct of helping people. The money is the byproduct of helping more people. And this here is expanding people's knowledge on what the fuck's really going on. You can take whatever you want out of this. This is an opinion, obviously, but at the same time, this is what we're here for, to expand your knowledge about what we're going on, what's happening in the world, everything else. I know this was not a lot of real estate related, but it is kind of, because he is an entrepreneur. And that's what we're here for. You know, you're going to be faced with a lot of trials and tribulations along your journey. And this is something where, as I have a different perspective, right? And now that I'm listening to Jake as well, what happened and everything else, it does change my perspective as well, because obviously I don't know what I don't know. And that's one thing about you guys plugging in. Be fucking humble, because there's always other people that know more information about stuff than you. Don't think that you're the smartest guy in the room, because the minute that you think that you're the smartest guy in the room is when you're going to get smashed in the face, because you're not. And that's my whole thing. And I appreciate you being on, man. And this is a great freaking conversation. JP with the great questions as well. And yeah, man, this is exciting. Guys, I appreciate all of you by listening, watching. And until our next episode, we're going to keep bringing more fire. We're going to keep bringing more conversations, good, bad. You know, there's going to be a lot of pushback. It doesn't matter, because guess what? Freedom of speech. We can talk whatever we want to talk about. And either you choose to listen or you don't. But obviously, you are going to smash that subscribe button and that like button. And make sure you follow us on Apple Podcasts as well. So until our next episode, this is Omar Alfaro and
JP, take care. Come here.